This game is rated M for mature. It may contain blood and gore, intense violence, strong language, mature humor, nudity, strong sexual content, use of drugs and alcohol. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone and welcome back to more Tokyo Babel. In the last episode we met the demon lord Astaroth, and now we're up here on top of the roof with Lilith.
それが命令だったから問題ない。
ええ、あなたが動かなくなるその日まで徹底的に使い潰すから、そのつもりでね。
Yeah, Astaroth told us to be wary of Lilith because basically she's just going to use us until we're no longer needed and she's going to cast us aside. So, I don't know what's going to play out, so... I nodded.
その方がありがたい。
An embarrassed giggle left Lilith's lips.
せめて恨み事を言ってくれると嬉しいんだけどな。
恨む筋合いがないので。
My life and world had long since been consumed by fire. I cared not how the remainder of my existence was put to use.
そう。じゃあ、せつな、一つ聞いていい？
ええ。
あなたの世界は救えなかった。もう滅んでしまった。なのに、あなたは他の世界を救おうとしている。命令しているのは私だけどね。
はい。
嫌にならないのかしら。
Interesting question.
別に。
Not particularly. I never felt that way, nor did it ever cross my mind to do so. I was born and raised for the sake of man, a group I ultimately betrayed. I chose to live for myself, and this caused the deaths of millions. I committed a grave sin. As such, the remainder of my life, if it could ever be called such, held no value to me whatsoever. Consequently, I longed to find a person who would make use of it to further their own ends. In my case, it ended up being a demon, though.
救えるなら救う。別の世界の人間だとか、人間じゃなくて天使や悪魔だとか、そういうのは、もう今の僕にとってはあまり関係がない。
As long as people were in need of aid, I would be there to save them. As long as I had adversaries to face, I would be there to stop them. Even if that road was paved with carnage and death, even if my fate was to be abandoned and discarded, I would still press on.
あれ？今自分のことを僕って言わなかった？
Yeah, I know. I put a little emphasis on that last one. I slipped up.
気のせいだ。
Lilith looked at me with the mischievous gaze of a child who had just come up with a perfect prank. I had a bad feeling about this.
いや、気のせいじゃないわ。絶対僕って言った。聞いたわ、絶対聞いた。
聞き間違いだよ。私は私だ。
Still as monotone as ever. Following a few seconds of silent contemplation, Lilith once again turned towards me.
ねえ、ひょっとして僕って言うとなんだか気弱そうに思われるからとか？
I evaded her gaze, yet that very action ended up confirming her suspicions.
昔言われた。
何を？
僕と言わずに私と言えと。その方が弱々しく聞こえないから。
Indeed.
まあ、あなたの出自を考えるとそうなるか。でも正直言って似合わないっちゃ似合わないわね。
ほっといてくれ。
Yeah, leave me alone.
ああ、すねた。
すねてなんかない。
I don't sulk. Lilith flashed another smile. I felt thoroughly exposed, almost like she could see right into the depths of my own heart, as black as it was.
聞きにくいことを聞いていいかな。
アダムのこと？
I hesitantly nodded, yet instead of lashing out at me, she replied in a serene tone.
神話によれば
Adam was the first man, right?
神話によれば私がアダムの元から逃げ出したことになっているわね。おおむね正解。私は最初の女として作られたけど、実は彼らより先にあれを食べていたのよ。
知恵の実？
ご名答。知恵の実を食べた瞬間、 私はアダムの顎に渾身の右フックを食らわせてやったわ。
Lilith victoriously threw her fist into the air. I wasn't sure if I should scold or compliment her feat.
そんなに悪いやつだった？
善悪を測るならとても善人だったわよ。神に仕え、神に従い、己の意志などかけらも持たない。いつもニコニコ笑っている。なので、まあとりあえず殴って、その後知恵の実のありかをサマエルに教えたわ。そしてサマエルはアダムとイブをそそのかし、あとは以下略ってやつね。
Lilith's quick gaze drew distant.
客観的視点で考察すると、あれはアダムに腹を立てていたわけじゃなくて、
Lilith stared deep into the black of night, her gaze reflecting a glint of sorrow and regret, a touch of hatred and anger. Or perhaps sheer indifference, nothing more. Her emotions were the palette of the rainbow, complex and dancing in a myriad hues.
そう。
まあでも、やっぱり今でも面を拝んだら無言で腹を突き刺して中身をえぐり出してやりたいくらいには苛立ってるわ。
その殴ったアダムがここにいるのか？
あれは違うわ。言っていたでしょ。あのアダムは天使
Neo
たちが
Adam.
作り上げた新しいアダム。ニューアダムとかネオアダム的な？
作り上げたか。
A certain uneasiness washed over me upon hearing that word.
まあ、会わない方がいいかもね、彼とは。
Is he not friendly?
なぜ？
反目するかもしれないから。彼とあなたとではそのあり方があまりに違う。
あり方が違うからといって私は区別したり敵対したりなどしない。
そうだといいんだけどね。
Lilith gestured for me to come closer to the fence, so I did. And the view from up here offered nothing save for a veil of dim haze blanketing the obsidian sky. It could be that Pandora didn't need an outside world, or that nothing actually existed beyond this rooftop.
今のあなたはこの瞬間に私がここから突き落としてぐしゃぐしゃに壊れて死んでも。
Lilith's hands reached out to me, but I neither tried to dodge, nor did I show any fear at her silly threat.
それならそれでいいかと考えている。流されているというか、命を捨てているというか。
捨てているわけじゃない。戦うときはちゃんと全力だ。
それは戦って勝つことを命令されているからでしょ。だからそれに向けて最善の努力をする。最短の距離で勝利をつかもうとする。
そう。だから
例えばそれがあなたが命を捨てることを前提とした戦いであろうとも、そうするつもりでしょ。
その通り。
I wondered why that even presented a problem in the first place. After all, I was summoned here for that exact purpose.
まあそうだったんだけどね。でもちょっとだけ思ったのよ。
Yeah, that'd be cool.
あなたが天国の門にたどり着けたとしたら、
You think they're big
ど
and
んなに
golden?
面白いのだろうって。
I bet they're big and golden.
私が天国に？
You know, like in all the illustrations of heaven, just clouds and Golden Gate and St. Peter just sitting right outside.
市場にして極上の土地、この世の果てにある楽園。その場所であなたは何をなすのかって。それを考えたらあなたにもきちんと巡礼してほしくなってきたのよ。
天国か。
Was I truly worthy to push its gates open and step through?
それを確かめるためにあなたには生きていてほしいと願う。すべてが終わった後でも。
ひとまず前向きに善処するということで。
ひとまずはそれでいいわ。まあ無駄死になんてしたら墓は作ってやらないからね。
I wouldn't ask you to.
はい。
Lilith began to casually dangle her legs atop the fence.
さて他に言うべきことが何かあったかしら。 そうそう。あなた、空見についてどう思う？
彼女は変わっていると思う。
Peculiar's right. In all honesty, I felt that word fit her perfectly.
ああ、その意見には私も全面的に賛成。ゲテルは偶然とんでもない人間を召喚したのかも。
空を飛べるわけでもなく、音より速く走れるわけでもなく、隕石を砕くほど力が強いわけでもない。
Which was exactly what made her peculiar. She was still alive, living in these hellish times like nothing had happened, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Would I be able to do that? If I had power, certainly. If not, would I be able to keep my sanity intact?
ああ、それで思い出した。セツナ、あなた空見に優しくしてあげなさいよ。具体的には白馬の王子様らしく振る舞いなさい。
I looked at her in confusion. What was this woman? No, demon thinking?
空見だってきっと不安なんでしょうし、だからあなたがキラッキラと輝くような笑顔を見せた方が喜ぶでしょうし。
A dazzling, princely smile.
不気味なだけだと思うが。
何よりそんな刹那を見て笑いたいし。
最後が本音だな。まあ表情に乏しいのは自覚しているが、生まれが生まれなので仕方ないことかと。
何よ、諦めたらダメよ。ダメ。試しにほら、私に笑いかけてみなさいよ。
I attempted to flash a beaming smile at her to the best of my abilities.
不気味。
Jesus, woman. Don't have to say it like that. And that criticism was too harsh.
笑えと言ったのはリリスだろうに。
笑い方が不気味なのよ。もうちょっとこう爽やかさを売りにしたアイドルみたいに笑ってちょうだい。
Although I wasn't exactly sure how a smile could beam with energy like a pop star's, I nonetheless concluded that a wide, cheery smile would be appropriate here. Alright, here we go. I gathered all my willpower and flashed the best smile I could possibly muster. I'm gonna push you off the fence. I was not sure what to make of Lilith's explosive guffaw. You're not a scout.
二度とやらない。
I gave her a stubbornly firm refusal.
じゃあ、録画しておけばよかった。
That mood is not even moved. Don't even say that.
もうそろそろ朝だし、帰るとしますか。
了解。
Lilith hopped off the fence in one swift move.
お先。
And she was gone, leaving me with nothing but that quick, carefree phrase. Either way, I could easily find my way back home. I turned around, having suddenly felt a presence from behind, only to come face to face with a young girl standing just a few centimeters away from me. She simply stood in place, acting like nothing was amiss.
No.
What? The fact that I had been unable to pick up on her presence, despite how close she was, left me in complete shock. Her appearance was that of a young girl, no older than 12 or 13. But if Tokyo Babel's taught me anything, it was that looks could be deceiving. Golden locks, seemingly natural, not dyed, an Alice band, and a white blue apron dress. A necklace with a winged serpent motif hung from her neck. Its glint, an eerie contrast to her otherwise everyday attire. Her laugh ridiculed, mocked, belittled. Still, that alone did not unequivocally establish her as a foe. After all, even an ally would have an ample reason to mock me. So the question remained, who was she exactly?
君がリリスのおもちゃなのかい？
おもちゃという言い方が適切ではないと思うが、リリスの召喚に応じたという点では君の言う通りだ。
そっか、君がおもちゃなんだ。
A cheerful giggle escaped her lips as I stood there, uncertain whether or not she paid attention to what I had just said.
それで君は何者なんだ？
私はねえお兄さん、私は誰？
She once again giggled, clearly taking me for a fool. This appeared to be her usual style, in which case there was no reason to let it get to me. Yet the mystery of her identity remained unsolved.
天使かそれとも悪魔か？
天使だったけど、今はもう悪魔に近いかな。
The so-called fallen angel. Then again, Lilith was no angel either, but fallen all the same. Which left only a few other options, judging by the serpent-shaped necklace and the way she spoke. After performing a quick search, I got a number of hints. I picked out the most likely candidate and spoke the name out loud. Beelzebub.
死の天使、
No.
毒の天使、楽園でアダムとイブをそそのかした
Really?
翼持つ蛇、サマエル。
Samael.
正解。ご褒美にチューしてあげる。
Get away from me, you Black Widow.
結構だ。
I retreated a few steps until I could feel the wired fence pressing against my back. Samael kept observing my every move, her wicked smile growing broader with every passing second. Well, no matter. She could look down on me all she wanted. I'd rather be considered small fry than a genuine threat.
ねえ、君も天国に行きたいのかい？
Well, it's on the itinerary.
いや、ただ天国が解放されないと困る人間がいるのだ。だったら捨ておくわけにもいかない。
困ってるやつは困らせておけばいいんだよ。みんなで仲良く破滅する方が楽しいでしょ。
Wait. You're trying to tempt me, aren't you?
個人が破滅を望み突き進むのは勝手だが、望まぬ方々をもろとも巻き込むのはいかがなものか。
嫌だよ、つまんない。みんなを巻き込むから面白いんだよ。
Well, fun for you, probably.
それは困るな。
How did Lilith not know she was there?
困るから楽しいんだよ。
The girl thrust out her tongue at me, its vivid red shape coiling about like a serpent's.
ま、今日は挨拶だけだから。
挨拶だけ。
Which meant she would eventually have other plans.
リリスがご出身の人間がどんな存在なのかちょっと見ておこうかなって。
興味本位というわけか。
ねえ、天道刹那だっけ？ちょっと聞きたいんだけど。
私も聞きたいことがある。
じゃあ私から。ね、君は神に興味があるかな？
この東京バベルにいれば当たり前だろう。
あ、ごめん。ちょっと質問間違えた。神になりたいと思ったことは？
Something deep within the very core of my heart stirred to life, jolted awake by her
思っ
words.
たことなどない。
でもさ、神だよ、神。絶対にして唯一にして万能にして全能の神。本当に興味ない？
ない。ではこちらからの質問だ。一つ、アスタロルもしくはカマエ、そしてリリスは君の存在を知っているのだろうか？
それはどういう意味のご存知？
Do they know you're here? That's... I don't know how else you would... Never mind. I slowly balled my right hand into a fist, switching to combat mode while analyzing all potential methods of dealing with the present situation.
それはもう君がこの東京バベルにおいて人間、天使、悪魔全体としての目標とは異なる方向性を目指していることについてだ。
This person, this girl, thing, it, I don't know. doesn't want us to succeed, and you know what? That's gonna put a damper on our plan. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is an enemy through and through.
私、頭弱いからわかんないな。そういうのって。
Well, you're a snake.
弱いのならばなおさらだな。
君はどう思う？
Samael lifted in the air, her shape distorting for a second.
道を違えるのであれば。
あれば？
Whoa. I heard a faint whisper right next to my ear. In the time it took me to glance up, Samael was already standing next to me. She peered into my eyes, her gaze filled with curiosity as she leaned on the nearby fence. Having no doubt sensed my distress, Samael's lips curled into the satisfied smile of a successful prankster.
始末する以外にあるんか。
ああ、やだやだ、怖いな。そんな短絡的な存在はあのベリアルだけで十分だっていうのに。
The floating Samael removed her necklace and threw it onto the concrete floor below. Whoa. A moment later, a colossal, multi-legged serpent materialized before me from a flash of blinding light, its body an otherworldly fusion of lizard and centipede. A glowing pattern sat upon the beast's forehead like a crown. Could this creature be?
こいつは私のペット、バジリスクのクーちゃん。足が多いから
That's a pet?
移動に便利なんだよね。
Wow. The Serpent King Basilisk. I leapt aside almost immediately to escape the beast's field of vision, but I was too slow. I felt my entire body buckle under a tremendous amount of pressure. Whoever the basilisk's gaze fell upon would gradually be petrified. One did not actually need to make eye contact with the creature for the process to begin. That's crazy. I swiftly worked out the necessary countermeasures and ordered my body to produce the appropriate antibody. Now that seems like cheating. By extracting genetic information from my skin, muscle, and blood, all undergoing rapid petrification, I was able to fight off the process via the nanomachines in my bloodstream. Petrification advanced faster than I anticipated. My entire body was gradually solidifying with an unpleasant crackling sound accompanying the process.
じゃ、またね、お兄さん。
Don't only sand me, get your ass back here. Fight like a god. Shit. Samuel mounted her basilisk like a steed and took to the skies, leaving the rooftop. The thought of pursuing them crossed my mind for a split second, but ultimately I decided against it. I would never catch up to them, even with a healed body at full speed. I diverted all remaining energy I had left to heal myself. My muscles had solidified into a mass hard as rock. The state of it resembled the symptoms of a certain existing illness. Yet the speed of the entire process was abnormally high. However, close resemblance meant that treatment would also be similar. I promptly began producing medical antibodies through my nanomachines. They're cheating. Come on. This should have been the end of me. The oppressive feeling that kept my body locked in place began to gradually let up, and by the time I could move my fingers again, I had completely reversed the petrification process. Still, that was an experience I cared not to live through again. As I made my way to the top of the fence and looked back over the deserted rooftop, a certain thought came to me. I would protect the humans, guide the angels back to heaven, and allow the demons to return to hell. All would join hands as one to make that happen, with our only enemies being the Madden Masters. I had my sights set on that one. In a way, a fairly simple mission. Yet, considering the sheer amount of power players who had assembled here, one could hardly be surprised at the inevitable emergence of forces harboring differing ambitions. Harboring different ambitions, huh? Even on the brink of the apocalypse, there existed those who would willingly press the launch button for a nuclear missile, guided by calmly calculated intentions, rooted in reasons and logic. Problems emerged, however, when that very logic was distorted at its core. I kept on flying, or rather letting myself fall downward while visualizing an image of the first floor of my mind. As I began approaching ground level, I resumed my flight, then opened a window and landed safely in the hallway.
ちょっと遅いわよ。
Sorry, I got a little hung up. Both reprimanded me as soon as our eyes met, which I followed up with a brief apology. I was just about to recount what had transpired atop the roof. She pointed at my right arm with a trembling hand. I looked down to see what caused her panic, only to find my arm completely flayed of its skin.
すまない。
Ew.
見苦しいものを見せた。
I immediately began renewing my lost skin. I most likely shed it as I was being slowly petrified earlier.
私が飛び降りてから5分の間に何があったってのよ。
I met a friend.
襲われた。
おう、誰に？
サマエルという打天使にだが。
よーし、詳しい話を聞かせなさい。
It once looked at me with the gaze of a predator in front of its would-be prey. I explained what had happened, how Samael came up to me shortly after Lilith left. I made mention of Samuel's clear antagonism towards us, as well as the fact that she had attacked me. Back in the night duty room, where both Sarami and Raziel were sleeping, Lilith let out a weary smile while sipping her tea.
とりあえず、アスタルトとカマエルに伝えとくわ。てかやっぱり生きてたのね、あいつ。
Have you seen her pet? My god.
死んでたと。
地獄が水没したあたりで行方知れずになっていたからね。
Great.
ああ、うっさんくさいやつだったわ。
I look forward to clashing blades at some point. So Samael was her enemy. Someone had declared herself to be a foe to angels and demons alike. What were her motives, goals, and plans for the future? I hadn't the faintest clue.
ただ一点、はっきりしているのが、どうやら私たちを天国に行かせたくないということか。
ああ、もうこれからはサマエルにも気をつけなくちゃならないってわけね。
She let out an exaggerated sigh. Either because the sun had risen or they simply heard us talking, Saram and Raziel woke up at nearly the exact same time.
ドーン！おはようみんな。あー、ちくしょう。やっぱり夢じゃないか。
No, it was not a dream, it's reality. Sorry to disappoint. And with that, I'm going to end the video off here, and I will see you in the next episode of Tokyo Babel. Who will be our next foe to cross our paths? Maybe we'll find out next time. Take it easy.